So I do want to ask you about Afterbirth, particularly kind of the genesis of Bert back there, and what our embryo symbolizes there for you.
Well, I guess I'm always like, obviously, once it's out there, people bring their own interpretation to it, but I suppose it all started with a very specific image. I suppose it's more about kind of dissociation and perhaps postpartum depression, just anything to do with kind of having a foreign presence in your body, which I suppose is all good body horror.
So the whole point is, when I wanted to do the Polaroids, when I thought about the introduction, I really sat back and I went, you know, I got this box of pictures and Polaroids from my aunt, and I just went through and I said, you know what, these are really cute, so I want to have a balance of cute and then start to make them look weird. So I thought the Polaroids, Miguel, were great to be able to do that. And they aren't all Polaroids. You know, there's apps to be able to turn them over and stuff. So I was able to transfer them into Polaroid pictures, but I thought it gave it a really weird feeling going into the short.
And so when I decided to make a horror movie and to make like my horror movie, I really wanted to kind of think explicitly about that type of friendship and just boil it down to its absolute essence within the context of the language of horror, which is the language that I like to use the most. And also to give myself something that I hadn't felt like I had seen explored in a way that I found satisfying on screen.
So I knew I needed to make a compelling story that took place in one location, right? And so part of the screenwriting process for me was like, if I'm worth my salt, I need to be able to prove it by doing a compelling narrative that's primal in a lot of ways. And if it's set in one location, it doesn't matter how many locations it's set in. If it touches on some kind of primal, carnal, visceral thing in all of us, then it's going to be a successful story.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like during the pandemic, especially being like, struggling with the isolation and the lockdowns and everything like that, like we all were, like filmmaking was like the only outlet that kept me from going insane. It was like a super positive thing to just, when I would make something, it would just give me some sort of focus, you know? It's like, otherwise, what are you gonna do? You're gonna drink all day, you're gonna scroll, you're gonna doom scroll on social media.
As a producer of Reptile House, and I'm a Vancouver-based, I run Generativity Productions, which helps finance and produce usually a lot of lower budget genre films. And I've had the pleasure of working with Tristan before Reptile House where she a number of great projects like Amazon Hotbox and Anxiety, where she's been an actress. And I was happy to help her realize her vision, her second directorial short, Reptile House, which we're also developing into a feature.
But my involvement in Reptile House is as a writer and director and even an itty bitty cameo.
That's right, of course, you can't. I'm sorry, someone's trying.
Well, you can't not stick a cameo in there. I mean, come on.
Who is under the Snake Woman mask?
It's the snake. Well, take lots of pictures, we'll post them on the internet, and so that way it will be out into the ether forever. And then we'll just like animate the pictures when we post the videos online.
No, it is true though that I had a feeling from very early on when I first read the script and when I first started working on the movie that there was something that, it gets back to the word emotion very much, was that there was something that was going to be working on more of the two levels that I felt like people really were going to be most interested in, which is the sort of surface level of the story and the momentum and the action scenes and everything were really great, but that in between those were these incredibly real, incredibly touching human moments. And I just felt like that combination, from the beginning, I felt like that was going to work for people, and to me it seems like that's been playing out. That's my take on it so far.
My name is Gia Elliott. I am the director, producer, co-writer, and director of cinematography for a feature film called Take Back the Night. We are a Riot Grrrl creature feature about a young woman who gets attacked by a monster, and her story really begins when the people closest to her start to doubt whether or not the monster is real, and she finds herself squaring off against a monster that she's not even sure herself whether or not she believes in.
I love the messaging, love the story, all of that. But I think one of the most exciting things to see all come together is like the real LA vibe that it has. And it really felt like an LA, like bootstrappy movie when we were making it. And I just feel like so much of that like grit and like, oh, we're gonna freaking do this, like is up on the screen. And it's just really exciting to see.
It's an incredible feeling because we were all just like so passionate, like really obviously love the story, knew how important it was to be told, and like we put like all of our resources together and just like honestly we're just so committed. And to see now that it's being received, that people understand it, get the message, that they love it, you know, it really means a lot to us. And just really proud of like the work that we did.